Now this is a story that I remember from my youth, written into a letter journal I kept for many years and was since lost. And as I sit here, I drank my coffee at the back, and I'm reminded of it. About a waiting man at a cafe, and the reason to why he was waiting. This story is for you. You know who you are. And for the fact, the story reminds me of you. So allow me, as memory permits, to retell the story once written between the pages of my letter journal. Let's go back to a time where there was the cafe and the waiting man. And it was a quiet cafe. One where the chairs were wooden and tables had ivory white tablecloths. Everything proper, spoons on your right, forks on your left, and a butter knife for the time you wanted toast, along with the boiled eggs. Old uncle in the back watched over us, all two of us, from the counter through large rimmed glasses. The only other people in the place were Mr. Cook, Senior, and yours truly. I saw little of Cook once the doors were open, for his domain was the kitchen, and nobody, and I mean nobody, walked into the area without his permission. So for most of the day, I kept company with Senior in the main dining area. But our story is not about old uncle with the big rimmed glasses, or Mr. Cook, or even Senior. No. Our story is about the one we call the waiting man. At precisely 10 a.m. every day, regardless if it rained or shined or a storm whipped up old Kuala Lumpur, waiting man would walk through the door and sit at the table, facing the wide glass window with a view to the street outside. He ordered black coffee with exactly 2 teaspoons of sugar and buttered toast, always roasted, and boiled eggs. And then he sat and waited for an hour. Old uncle seemed oblivious to waiting man, and Mr. Cook would walk out the kitchen unannounced and prepared to place an order of toast and boiled eggs at the precise moment waiting man pulled his seat to sit. Orchestrated at exactly 10 a.m. every day. After a good 2 weeks of watching this play out before me, I finally mustered enough courage to ask waiting man. Yes, I was curious. The whys and the whats. What drives this play of events? What makes a man walk into a cafe at precisely the same time each day without fail? And it really was not the toast. I tasted it. Boiled eggs will stay boiled eggs. The coffee, it tastes the same as the one I served down the road. So what's with it? Sir. Yes. I'm curious. You are new here, aren't you? I stood straight, yes. About 2 weeks. I see. Waiting man took his gaze off me and looked to a point beyond the wide glass window. What is it that you want to know? He asked. And for the longest time, there was silence shared between us. I turned to look at Senior, who was sheepishly urging me on. He too was curious, but I was the one to ask the all-important question. Why do you come here every day? There was a smile on his face, a calm demeanor of one so content with the moment. He beckoned me to sit, and I, sitting next to him, I got my answer. I am waiting. I have been for a good 30 years, every day, waiting. Is it a waste of time that a man would spend an hour a day to wait to complete a promise made so long ago, a promise that stays and urges him on every day of his life, a promise that shaped his going about and how life is lived? I am here because I am waiting. He turned to me, and for a moment there was sadness, a deep sorrow, a tearful sigh, for only that moment. And as if a good memory came, he smiled and managed to chuckle. Have you been in love? I managed a half remark. She said she'll be here at 10 a.m. And if I loved her, I'd come. But she did not come. Well, I still came. I am still here. I kept my promise. But it's not right. She never came. Again, waiting man looked out the window to a point beyond the horizon. Young man, I have loved her all my life, and that's why I am here. If I love her, I'd come. And here I am. I came. And I've been coming every day. He nodded his head as he said that. And the universe will bear witness. I've loved her all this time. His voice in a near whisper. At times, waiting is not waiting. It's a lesson in patience, in perseverance, and in knowing what pulls your heart the most. What was she like? I had to ask. He smiled. A warm breeze in summer with the smell of fresh flowers in an open field. She's a shade from the noon sun, a warm drizzle in late afternoon, a hot embrace under a full moon. Thank you. I rose from my seat, walked to the back of the cafe, and held back my tears. Yes, he kept coming till the day I left the cafe. Did she come? I don't know. Did he come? Yes, he did. Why? Because love has to be shown and not spoken of. This story is for you, and you know who you are. And if it means I have to wait, I will. And when you do come, love would have been complete and full and true. I put up this story on my blog a couple of years back, and it just sat there in my blog. It's one of those stories. And then one day I got an email, and it had just a few paragraphs. And I'd like to read this email to you. Every morning she stood under the same lamppost, watching, waiting. Without fail, just before 10 a.m., he would appear. She watched as he entered the cafe across the street, keeping the promise he had made to her. He had been taking the same path for 30 years, living on hope and on the love that he kept alive with the very essence of his being. If not any one of those mornings, he had turned and looked at a corner across the street. If he turned, he would have seen her. I've always been here, you just never realized it, she whispered, her words carried away by the wind. Every morning she stood there, grappling with her doubts, her worries and her fears, not daring to love him the way he loved her. This morning, she looks to her right, left and right again. The streets are empty. She crosses the road towards the cafe. The end. I happen to know this person, and I would tell you the truth, I would wait 30 years for this person. I'll share 2 poems, 2 poetry. This is the old school, what Nazim did is very contemporary, very new. I do mine in a form that is more like the Japanese haiku, which is very short poetry and 4 paragraphs. This one's called That Quiet Bubble. This happened in a airport. Elderly couple sitting among a crowd, not a word exchanged, not a word said, yet words were there. She closed her eyes, he looked over, he took note, yet smiled and let her laugh. You watched the couple before you. You smiled, you missed me by your side. And amidst the crowd, that quiet bubble, 2 people in love, 2 people in harmony, a time spent in melodic silence. Next one's called A Cloud Over My Head. I'm not sure, but some of you may deal with depression. I had a problem with depression. It took me about 3 years to get over it. And in the time of depression, I wrote some of the best poems ever. Some of them dealt with death, some of them dealt with suicide. This one's called A Cloud Over My Head. There's a cloud over my head, the kind that keeps you awake, pulls you along a string of dreams, annoying a pest, a beholder, of a headache. There's a frown on my face, an upside-down smile, the kind that brings tears to your eyes, tears of pain and all things vile. There's a hold in my heart, the kind that comes from a fracture, pulling me deeper into the abyss, a spiral of grey dreams beyond measure. There's a cloud over my head, the kind that keeps the frown on my face, a swirl of grey, measurable as dreams and screams, as I lie, watching from this earthly space. And finally, I'd like to read a story about love. How many of you asked that question? What is true love? What is true love? So this one's called, back in 2010, I sat at the kitchen of a friend's house and she asked me that question, what is true love? So she left to do breakfast. I sat there, I wrote out a story, I left it for her, I left Guangdong. She posted it on her blog and I copied it because I didn't have a copy. So I like to do that, I give stories to friends. So this one's called The Old Man Under the Tree Talking About Love. What is true love? True love is when you can still love someone at their most horrible self, at their dumbest moment, weakest point. And what is intimacy then? The art of effortless communication. There is a tree in a valley where the lilies grow and a gushing brook bubbles. A place where butterflies meet every April and swallows return every October. And on most summer nights, the fireflies will dance along the branches. And underneath this tree, there is a small hut with a roof made of straw and the windows of round barrels. A simple dwelling for a complicated man, the man we shall call the wise. A man of many tongues, a man who measured the moon's walk as it traveled from east to west and who captured the morning rays in a stunted jar glass. A sage, a philosopher, a man with a visitor. She came the day after. He was clearing his library of ancient books, and as he marveled at the empty shelves, he heard a knock and a rat-tat-tat. "Come in!" he bellowed. The door slightly opened. "Well, open it wider or else just close the door." He raised his voice, annoyed at his visitor. She stepped into the hut and politely stood before him. "What do you want to ask me?" he asked as he turned his back to her. "How do you know I want to ask a question?" she quipped. "The reason most people seek me out, and you may ask more than just one question. You do have a few questions, right?" She could not hide her surprise. "Why? I was meaning to ask you a few questions. How did you know? Just ask me the questions, he commanded. She drew her breath, and while tucking her stray hair behind her ear, she began to speak. What is true love? The man turned and in a swift glance took note of her feet, her arms, and her face, and he slowly walked around her, sniffing her clothes as he twirled around her. True love is when you can be a devil and someone would still love you and offer you the grace and mercy of an angel. The old man paused, waiting for the next question. Why do people search for true love? Suddenly, the old man became quite angry. It is not love that they seek. It is intimacy with the person they love. It is not the loss of love that they fear, but the loss of intimacy. The young woman held her breath. She wanted to do more. What then is the meaning of life? To find oneself in the bigger scheme of things. All the religions in the world teach us this. Is it that hard to attain? She rushed to the next question. No. But listen to me. We are too busy defining life to really live life. We define and rationalize and seek to explain, when all that is needed is to live it. We look at the sea and describe its waters, the hues of color, the vast stretch of sand and matter of its beauty, yet we stop ourselves from swimming in it. Because true joy is in the swimming, in allowing the sea to envelop us and make us one with it. Her eyes swelled with tears. She was trying to hold herself back. Is this the same with love? Yes. We explain it and rationalize it, but fail to be involved with it. Thank you very much.